Assalamualaikum, good evening. I'm Shafzan Johari and this is Agenda Wani. Tonight we'll be talking about Serba Dinamik IT solutions and its quest to be more competitive in the age of Industry Revolution 4.0. And to talk more about this, we have in the studio Dr. Insinyur Muhammad Abdul Kari Abdullah, the Group Managing Director and CEO of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad, and Mr. Kalakovan Anthony, he's the Chief Technology Officer, Serba Dinamik IT Solutions, Sdn Berhad. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. First and foremost, I would like to ask you about the IT solutions. Is I would say this is not yet your core business, but yet you have introduced this so-called as a future business. You have identified this as your future business core. Can you tell us a bit the background of Serba Dinamik IT solutions in Berhad?
Okay, I need to mention that our engagement or our expansion into this IT solution is not something which is running out from our initial prospectus declarations that we have made to the public. If we look backward, inside the prospectus it's mentioned that the core competency or core revenue driver will be coming from operation and maintenance, number one. Number two, it will be coming from EPCC, engineering, procurement, construction and commissioning. And there's another component, other products and services. So IT solution is embedded inside the other products and services.
All right. But you pretty much has identified this IT solutions as something that will turn into a big business for Serba Dinamik.
Yes, and we have started this way back 2 years after the inception of the company, which is talking about in 1993.
All right.
So in 1995, we have already set up a wholly owned subsidiary, what we call it as Serba Dinamik IT Solutions in Sdn Berhad. And we actually also put in the submissions to get the MSc status, which we were successful, and SD IT, which we call it, is a MSc company at the moment. So to elaborate a little bit more, there are three different core competency inside there. Number one is specialized developments of software. Two will be developments of apps, and number three will be e-commerce. So these are the three areas which is under the so-called the capability statements of our IT solution.
And so basically IT solutions is not a department, it's a company of its own, all right? It's an entity. So it pretty much, number one, supports your core businesses.
Correct.
But at the same time, you're hoping that it will turn into a core business in the future.
Correct.
When we talk about in the future, what is the what we call time length that we're looking at?
During the early days, we were a bit slow because of lack of funds. But after we got ourselves listed onto the first board, we have moved very fast from that day. And I would say that at the moment, we have developed quite a lot of very potential apps and also specialized tailored software, which will support what Serba Dinamik is doing. It will also support our prospect and our clients. And also on the apps kind of developments, it will take into the requirements and the application into the public domain.
So currently you're doing software development,
yes,
app development.
Yes.
And would there be any other what we call elements within the Serba Dinamik IT solutions?
Yeah, I think there are some of the apps which we have developed and which are commercially available in the market at the moment. Among others will be the quick parking. And then we have also launched under the Ministry of Health what we call it as My TPA, which is talking about third-party administrator. And there will be more to come. So all these are, I would say, products and systems which will cater not only to specific institutions, but also cater for the public domain at large. Yeah,
you're not the only player in the industry, and I reckon there are other major players. And staying competitive is about getting the right talent and
Correct.
nurturing the talent.
Yeah.
What is the challenges moving forward to number one, nurture, but also to nurture the talent, but also to create an app or a service that such in I would say a service that would fulfill everyone's expectations. Maybe Mr. Kalakovan?
Yeah, actually there is a lot of challenges into this. This area, when you look into it, we have a lot of competitors in the market. But what we find that for all our apps, end of the day is the advertisement and marketings. How you service yourself into the market, and how fast you are moving in each and every of the opportunity that is being provided. Right now I say that quick parking. So quick parking is like started with the QR codes. Now we are moving into a Bluetooth connectivity, and we want to move further with IoTs. So I think that will be the major perspective for us to keep us more competitive in the market.
Because technology changes like rapidly now. The Industry Revolution 4.0 enables technology to actually change every month.
Yep.
So keeping abreast with all these new changes is another challenge.
Definitely, but you know, like the change happens everywhere, and if you are not compatible and if you are not able to cope up with the current technology, then you will be actually cannot able to sustain in this business. So IT business is concerned, I think it's a fast growing nature. So we have to adapt it. We have to adapt it. So that's the where we are now in the right position, as we think the Serba Dinamik IT solution is a right position to bring ourselves in a fast, put ourselves in a right path in a fast moving directions.
And Serba Dinamik IT Solutions is also an anchor company where you are also helping other smaller companies. So basically, you just don't kill everyone else, but you help them to grow together. Can we talk about this more after the break?
Sure.
All right. See you again after the break. Welcome back to Agenda Awani. We're still with Dr. Engineer Muhammad Abdul Karim Abdullah, the Group Managing Director and CEO of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad, and Mr. Kalakovan Anthony, Chief Technology Officer of Serba Dinamik IT Solutions in Berhad. Yes, it's about growing together with other players. You do not intend to be a shark.
Sure. Yeah.
but rather to be a company that nurtures not just your talent but other companies as well. So how do you play your part here?
I would say that that is one of the very important goals that we have in the overall roadmap of the Serba Dinamik Group itself. And also because of that, we took up the offer or the appointment from MITI to appoint Serba Dinamik as one of the anchor vendor company.
All right. When was this?
That was way back 2.5 years ago.
All right.
Yeah. So with this kind of appointment, we are obliged to help to nurture and build up SME companies so that they grow to the next level of their developments as an entrepreneur.
How many SMEs have you guided?
We have at the moment 6 altogether,
All right.
VDP company. Moving forward, we have what we call it as our Johor VDP chapter, which we are going to launch it in first week of February this year.
All right.
Because we are putting a very heavy investment into Johor Rapid Pengerang project. And that is where we feel that we can bring up more SMEs to join this program so that we can help them to grow together.
And this company that you nurtured, are they basically appointed, or you actually scout them out?
They will go through our process of evaluation and assessment, and upon that, meeting all the requirements, then we will issue out the official kind of appointment over to them. So we are looking at something like another additional 20 companies coming from that particular chapter or program. Yeah. And of course, we do have also further plans moving forward into our so-called Bintulu Integrated Energy Hub, which will also bring up quite a lot of opportunities where we can develop SME nature kind of company. So that one, I think it will come after our Johor VDP chapter.
All right, now, how are we going to build the ecosystem? Malaysia ecosystem, where we don't kill each other, but rather we support each other, number one. Number two, Serba Dinamik IT Solutions, you are not just here in Malaysia, as I said in the intro, you're also, exporting your services out of this Malaysian boundary. How will we want to replicate this?
It's a very good question, which we always say that Serba Dinamik is not only looking at the domestic market. We have been making presence in a lot of other countries in other parts of the world. And I would say that the journey of globalization within Serba Dinamik is a continuing journey. So as a result of that, we do foresee that all these SMEs have a lot of opportunity, which we will carve out certain different scope over to them. And then the Serba Dinamik group or the holdings company will be the integrator to integrate all these different components together and sell it out as a package.
It's about working together.
Yes. And we sometimes people ask us, are you not worried that your so-called sub-vendor will overtake you and become your competitor and so on? But we are saying that no, is a national agenda, it's an obligation for us to help our SMEs community. And at the same time, we are also moving as a global entity. And as a global entity, the world is a market and there will be a lot of opportunities. So with that, we foresee that the issues of them becoming a competitor and so on will not arise, because every year we are moving ourselves to the next level of the company development.
Where next after Middle East?
We have more or less entered into the African continent. We are working quite seriously looking at Central Asia at the moment. There are quite a number of good prospects coming up. Once things are firm up, we will make the necessary kind of announcement. And if you look at that aspect, more or less Serba Dinamik in Southeast Asia, we have the presence. Middle East, we have been there more than 17 years already. The African continent, we are at the moment positioning ourselves. We have secured something over there. Central Asia, like I mentioned, very positive and very optimistic of closing up some deals, big deals very soon. In the European so-called region, we use UK as our foundation, where we grow further. We have been there for the past more than 3 years already. And only left is the United States of America.
Would you like to enter the US?
Yes,
last week, Trump just invited all businessmen to make investment in the country. So what do you think about it?
I would say for technology company like Serba Dinamik, United States of America is a region or a country which we cannot be left out. So we are working towards that, and of course we are very optimistic that it is something which is achievable within the company.
All right. Now, when we talk about Industry Revolution 4.0, there's a lot of hesitation. It appeared previously that this will only bring disruptions and the industry can't really cope with the disruption, number one. Number two, there's a lot of hesitation by industry players from all industry because it disrupts the manpower, disrupts jobs, it disrupts so many things. But for Serba Dinamik, you see this as a golden opportunity. How are we going to talk to them, talk to the rest of the industry, and you say, hello, you need to change, and you have to change now because we're a year late, if not 17 years late. So I'm going to start again the questions to you after the commercial break. Welcome back to Agenda Awani. Still with Datuk Dr. Engineer Muhammad Abdul Karim Abdullah, the Group Managing Director and CEO of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad, as well as Mr. Kalakovan Anthony, the Chief Technology Officer, Serba Dinamik IT Solutions Berhad. Datuk, getting everyone on board.
Okay. That is very true what people say, that all this Revolution 4.0, Industry 4.0 is bringing more disruption rather than construction.
Hence, you have to delay it, as much as possible. But how do you turn this?
But the reality is this: whether a person likes it, or a company likes it, or a government likes it or not, it is there and it's coming. And I would say that if you go back to the historical of event of all this Industry 4.0, it started way back around 2011. So now it's 2018. We are almost 7 years behind, so-called, when this idea and the concept and the implementation of this thing come in place. So upon mentioning that, whether we like it or we don't like it, it is coming. So what Serba Dinamik is doing is, we look from the aspect how we can utilize this so-called industrial revolution to benefit what we are doing. Okay. So if we look at the core competency of Serba Dinamik as an O&M, which is looking at the assets of our customer. And when we talk about assets, people is talking about productivity of the assets. So how does we come as a maintenance entity which can give value add to our asset owner? So that is where Industry 4.0, like what have always people mention, there will be IoT, Internet of Things, there will be big data, there will be data analytics, there will be AI, artificial intelligence. So all these things are components that is needed to look at what we call in the industry as asset integrity management. All right. So all these capabilities are put into that asset integrity management to improve the assets so that the assets can be more reliable and it can produce more production as what is needed. Right. So we are using it towards that direction.
So under the Serba Dinamik IT solutions, you have software and apps development, correct, as well as e-commerce. Yes. All right. Now talking about these three services, what will be the future, let's say, in a year or two?
So like what my other colleagues has mentioned just now, these are the requirements which is needed not only by industry but also by the public. So a lot of apps that we are developing is actually required for both different situations. And when we talk about the public, it's talking about the volume play. So when we talk about the volume play, is huge amount of income that we can pull in. It's the same things like what Facebook is doing, Google is doing, Amazon.com is doing. So it's talking about a volume play. So with this big data and data analytics capability, which we have in-house, we also have IoT specialists together with us. We are developing apps and other applications which can play this kind of role. So more or less in hand, for the next 3 to 5 years, we already have a certain order in hand, which we projected that it will come in the figure of something like 300 million ringgit Malaysia.
So you have, orders lined up. Yeah. And Mr. Kalakovan, the kind of technologies that are needed to fulfill the orders, what are those?
Okay, because now, as what mentioned by our CEO, we are more on the public-related, actually income-generating kind of options. And I would say that where we look at it is like the major apps right now in place. I would say quick parking. So quick parking, if you look at it, the way it grows currently, because now people talking about cashless and digitalization society. So digitalization and cashless going to be the future, and it will definitely generate a lot of income into it. Where right now we see there is a huge potential over here, because people like if you look at countries like China, people are using on the QR codes on
Yeah,
digitalization,
yeah.
where we feel that we want to bring in that kind of capabilities and technologically into the other countries as well. So not only in Malaysia, we also focus in other countries as well. So that will definitely drive us in a big volume. And again, now we have like MyTPA. So MyTPA, we as a third-party administrator, we just don't want to run these particular applications as a traditional method. We want to run in a digitalization method. So that means like there will be a lot of apps available, especially for whoever involved in it. Is it maybe a doctor? Is it a patient? Is it maybe an employer, clients, customers? So we want to drive it through apps. So that will help them to make a more efficient decisions. Because like when you're talking about Industry 4.0, the whole idea goes to AI, artificial intelligence, where the data analytics is very important to make it efficient decisions. So, and the third one, we look at the few other technologies that what we have and develop these kind of apps will definitely can achieve the targets.
Would there be device development anytime soon?
Yes, definitely. There will be a device development, because that's what we go into the IoT of process already. So that means there will be a locally manufactured device from our side, and that will be used as one of the process as well. So that will be patented and kept as an IP for us as well. So this will definitely increase the revenue point of view, and also give more awareness to people to use Serba Dinamik as one of the IT solution, as one of the key players into the market.
All right, that's all the time we have. Unfortunately, we would love to talk more about this, but I'll reckon we have other sessions in the future where we can actually continue talk more about this. Thank you very much, Dr. Engineer Muhammad Abdul Kari Abdullah, the Group Managing Director and CEO of Serba Dinamik Holdings Berhad, and Mr. Kalakovan Anthony, the Chief Technology Officer, Serba Dinamik IT Solutions Berhad. We're talking about how Serba Dinamik is gearing up not just itself but also the industry and Malaysia at large towards the advent of Industrial Revolution 4.0. If you have comments, ideas, you can share with us on our social media. And that's all, I guess, tonight. I'm Shafzan Johari. Good night.